7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Welcome into the next edition of the Vegas Squares podcast. Sitting here in the virtual studio, you got the full house going on. We got Token, we got Spike, and we got Bobby Digital all going on. Token, Bobby, I don't care what's going on with you guys. Spike, what's up with you, buddy?
Well, it's very nice of you to ask. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You fucking dolt. Nobody cares. Get on with it.
You're right. We don't.
You were just complaining 2 minutes
you.
ago off air about how we've already wasted too much time on this podcast.
Well, yeah, because
I don't want to have to reset it in the middle of it.
We're in the most important part of the podcast.
Full Zoom account and get an unlimited time, and you keep fucking doing shit like this. And then Token tries to talk over my joke when I'm in the middle of a rant. God damn it, man! Read the room.
I liked you better when you were on mute.
Is there any chance we can trade him to Minnesota today?
Can I get one of those Target people?
I'll trade him for an avocado.
Yeah, I would trade him for an avocado too, and I don't eat those. So, anyways, I got my new 12-ounce sports shirt in the mail today.
Nice.
Courtesy of Talkman Radio for losing that bet.
Randall. Barstool.
Oh, nice.
King of all media.
So, Talkman, if you're out there, I got to give you an opportunity to win a shirt off of us. Don't ever make a bet that thins your odds so bad that he literally said that Justin Herbert was only going to go to the Dolphins. So, I pretty much got the feel on that one. So,
yeah.
Free shirt alert. Anyways, let's thank the sponsors here. We got some MLB to talk about. First and foremost, obviously, 12-Ounce Sports Network, where you can catch our show on 12ozsportsradio.com. Seat Giant, promo code 12-Ounce Sports for your discounted sporting event, concert, and theater tickets. ChaiPoker.net. Fat Tees Food, best barbecue in Albuquerque. If you're ever in the Albuquerque area, stop by, give them some of your business, tell them we sent you. And you can visit them at fatteesfood.com. And Wicked Cuts Jerky, some of the best jerky I've ever had. Still working on getting us some samples. I just had them ordered, and unfortunately, they're not considered essential, so they are being delayed shipment right now. So we're going to be delayed on our taste test. Who knows what you can just deem essential nowadays anyway. So, but catch them at wickedcuts.co. That's cuts, C-U-T-Z. All right, so sit here with my baseball hat on because we're going to talk baseball, and we might be talking about the fact that we don't have any baseball in 2020. Bobby, you're the one who said it first. You said you don't see a 2020 season after the latest proposal from the owners to the players basically felt like a slap in the face.
No, brother, they are way, way too far apart. The MLBPA guys just basically shunned their offer and didn't even reply to it. That doesn't bode well for anything. I just don't see how they can come even close to getting. And the MLBPA guys won 100+ games. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, you're looking at, how long are we going to play if there's no fans? I got to imagine these TV deals are still bringing in some big revenue. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I got to imagine, from four guys sitting here, the common man, watching millionaires versus billionaires while the MLB minor league system basically got annihilated in the last week as well. So, can someone on this panel make me feel for any of the players or the owners in this spot?
I feel more for the players, in my opinion, because they're actually asking how much the owners are making, and the owners are keeping that as like top secret of Coca-Cola at this point.
I'm pretty sure that's public knowledge, though. I mean, I've seen different fiscal numbers. You can probably an easy Google search. I know that I'm sure these baseball players know how to use
Yeah, but
Google.
they want them to admit how much they're making and move from there.
Revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even
Yeah,
if
they're not opening up the books to everything.
even if they admit how much they're making, people, the average man is just going to believe it's a lie anyways. You could tell me they're making $100 million and somebody's like, no, they probably make it 200. They just say 100 to make them not look as bad. I mean, business is business. I understand the player's reality here, but Spike, what if I'm a person who's not going back to work, which means I'm making – these guys can't file for unemployment. And be honest, the state's unemployment is nothing to what they make in MLB salaries. But, something's better than nothing? No?
But, it's – I hate to say it, but I don't think a lot of these guys are fiscally sound or at least economically educated as to what they should be doing with their money when it comes to investing and
setting themselves up.
Yeah, getting themselves ready. We keep bringing up the fact that like Rob Gronkowski, when he was with the Patriots, never touched a dime of his football contract money. He only spent endorsement money because he was saving up for retirement and this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know that. I mean, the reason we know that is because he is the exception to the rule. You hear about all these guys that are former players that are, within 3 years, they're dead broke. One of my favorite Major League Baseball players of all time is Doug Mirabelli, who, if you remember Disco Doug, the essentially personal catcher for Tim Wakefield, trying to catch those knuckleballs.
Las Vegas native.
Was crazy. He's now a real estate agent in northern Michigan. So it's just one of those things where a lot of these guys don't manage their money well. So I think having the season cut either short or completely off is going to hurt these players significantly. Yes, the owners are going to get hurt, but more often than not, the owners are not just owners of franchises. They have multiple other businesses. That's how they amass their fortune. And then they bought a franchise to kind of go along with that, to diversify their portfolio, so to speak. These players don't have that luxury. So losing this kind of money means a good chunk of them, if this season doesn't come back, I'm willing to bet the Home Depot is going to get flooded with applications from guys trying to get a job just so they can pay the bills.
Well, and also 60% of professional baseball players make under $1 million. So there's a lot of guys who aren't making $35 million. True, Mike Trout's going to take a $28 million cut, but there's guys who are, making $1 million would make like $700K or something like that. I mean, I'm not going to say you can't support a family on it, but if you have nothing and you were only making $600K before, I mean, once you buy a house, you buy a couple of cars and stuff like that, that money's not going to last forever. So these minor league guys are really taking it on the chin.
Yeah, it looks like the minor league system has been completely demolished as far as I've seen. A lot of these guys are actually just getting cut. And, I read an article where they're not allowed to file for unemployment because they were technically never really employed by a public business. So that's a whole other bag of worms. But Token, I mean, I don't advocate anybody having to take a side that they don't believe in, but if you're an owner of a business, I understand, like Spike said, you have other ventures that can continue your stream of income, but there's been rumors that these owners could lose $3-4 billion if a season's not played or a season is played with no fans.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean,
there's some kind of feel for them as well.
At this point, they hope for a season, even if it is without fans, even if it is half a season, just something to generate some source of income. And
even if the owners could find a way to break
even,
I mean, I'm sure they'd be fine.
Yeah, they just don't want to sit on this, and who knows what happens after this year if there's no baseball, and it might be hard moving forward if there's no baseball compared to a short season.
Well, and that's the question too. We talked about this off air, Bobby, but the viewership and fan base, you and I seem to disagree, but the viewership and fan base is dwindling in baseball, and we haven't had a work stoppage since I believe the early 90s in baseball. And it took a really long time for baseball to even get back to the state it is now. It's possible with the other three sports and even with, some other sports really gaining interest as well. Baseball could really be down in the dumps. This could be a 10-year, swing for them as far as negativity.
Yeah, and the most important thing in getting a deal hashed out for this year, whether it be 80 games, whether it be 100 games, is for the health of the game. It's not for this year, because you might as well call this year lost. But playing 0 games is going to hurt a whole lot worse than playing no games at all. Because what's going to happen when people say, well, I didn't really miss baseball. Baseball is gone. I really didn't give a fuck. That's the worst case scenario. And like you said, baseball still has legions and legions of fans. It's still going to be more popular than hockey. And I think it's still more popular than the NBA besides the spring and stuff like that. But they have to get a deal done, or this might be irreparable damage.
I will respectfully disagree. I think, Spike, you and I disagree that I think the NBA is more popular, despite the fact that I don't believe anybody on this panel right here actually watches the NBA.
I do.
Yeah, so it's just factually incorrect to say that the Major League Baseball is more popular than the NBA. It's just TV ratings, and I have it right in front of me. The NBA is at a 2.3, which is about almost 4 million viewers on the games on ABC. Major League Baseball is a rating of 1.4, which is just over 2 million viewers on the games on Fox. And those are the most popular games on each platform. So, I mean, we're talking about nearly double the audience for the NBA than it is for MLB. So to say that baseball is more popular than basketball is just not within this reality that we live in. If you want to be in the Matrix and live in like some kind of multiverse, then by all means, then maybe Major League Baseball is more popular than football. I don't know. But in this reality in which we live, basketball is more popular than baseball.
Once again, I disagree. You're going to the mainstream demographics of the ESPN games and the ABC games. Day to day, people are going to watch baseball every single day, whether it be regional networks, whether it be stuff like that. So people aren't watching the Timberwolves and the Cleveland Cavaliers on Tuesday night in February. It's a fact. Red Sox fans are going to watch those games every single day on regional network. It's more popular.
But with respect to Spike's claim, baseball has no competition for most of their season, and they're still only drawing 1.7. Yes, a regional team is going, like NESN Sports probably has a different media demographic, but I mean, however many people get NESN versus the American television is, a blip. Either way, I don't want to fixate on this argument right here because basketball doesn't matter to me anyway. So the real question I have is how do they fix it now? Because Bobby, you did bring up a good point. The narrative right now is this season is probably a loss, but we cannot suffer any more collateral damage. So do we find a way, if this is what the owners are proposing to pay them, do we find a way to maybe do some kind of – maybe we just let all 30 teams just start in the playoffs, just have a playoff tournament style down to a champion. Maybe we just have a March Madness for 2 months in baseball. Best of 5 series all the way down to we crown a champion.
So the Tigers might have a shot to
every
make it
freaking team has, and you can put an asterisk, you can put a footnote on this one or whatever you want to do. But if these players aren't going to play, they're shooting themselves in the foot because $0 is far less than the $6 million Mike Trout was due to get. I understand. It's just it's tough to ask anybody to take a loss, but you're looking at $100,000 losses, or to the biggest cases of like Mike Trout. You're talking about if these numbers are right that I'm reading, you're talking about a $13 million loss that he's asked to take. Where if the numbers are true, again, depending on what you believe, the owners collectively could be taking billions of dollars. Now, does that mean we're not getting TV contracts? Maybe. Does that mean we're not getting fans in the stands? Probably. So. To literally just Major League Baseball becomes a charity for 1 year to these players who, frankly, a lot of them don't seem like they give a damn if they play or not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe let the minor leaguers play. Throw $1 million to all the scabs. Throw $1 million to all the scabs and let all the minor leaguers play.
Probably throw
$500,000.
Yeah, $250K.
Yeah, these guys are making $500-600 a week. Throw them fucking $250K. Take your small loss and put Keanu
you actually
Reeves
might have
on
a
the
more
field.
interesting product to move forward.
Give me Shane Falco pitching. What is that? What was that? What was that movie? I can't remember that movie.
The Replacements.
Yeah, there you go. Just give me Shane Falco on the mound. I mean, what's the story here?
There's a lot of smart people, whether it be behind the scenes, plus on these teams, and a lot of these players are smart people too. They have to find a way to make something. Look, it's not going to be equitable. There is no such thing as equitable. Supposed to make $35 million and get it to $6. That's not. But they're going to have to figure out something where they can play. They have to. Otherwise, it is.
Do we believe that?
I don't know how.
So, do we believe that Mookie Betts is going from $35 million to $6? Now we see that. We'll see that on paper. But do you believe at this panel that the owners are going from whatever they make to close to zero or taking a loss? Do you believe that?
I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think they're going to find a way where they can play games. They have to find a way to play games. I don't know how the money is going to shake out, but there's still millions and millions of dollars with TV contracts. Somehow they're going to find a way to get these games going, don't they? Don't they have to?
They don't have to. I mean, we've had work stoppages in almost every sport before. I mean, the last thing I remember, the NHL missed a whole year for a lockout, and they had a hard time kind of, recouping the losses as well. I mean, theoretically, if you want to talk about TV contracts and paying salaries, let's just all the stadiums are empty. Let's just go back to the spring training thing. Put half the league in Arizona, put half the league in Florida. There's a TV contract that governs every single game in Arizona and every single game in Florida, or two separate TV contracts, whatever. And somehow the local regional networks can funnel in money and get these players paid and somehow get, stadiums taken care of. Because not all these stadiums are owned by owners. They're owned by the city. Sometimes they pay back to the city. The bills are still due. So if we can find a way for the season to break even, that saves everything. We get baseball as fans. Mm-hmm. They at least get the break. And that's what not to get off topic with business. I mean, when people were talking about the government bailouts and, I can understand some of them, but I only think there should be bailout money enough to break even. You don't need to be lining CEOs' pockets. I don't need to line the owner's pockets, but I feel if the owner loses money, I definitely do. The same with the players.
Yeah, that they bought the business to potentially make a little cheddar or
they take all the risk.
Yeah.
Exactly. The baseball player can sit at home. Look at Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell decided to sit out a year. He'll never see that $15 million.
No.
But he decided that was in his best interest. These baseball players, they can sit out a year. If they don't feel comfortable playing for it, give them an out. Give them a contract. Give them a clause. Let them sit out for the year. They make $0. They come back next year when life's normal. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but it seems to me
nobody has the answer. But I mean that however is. I mean, I'm feeling for the average baseball, even above average MLB player and all that. If they choose to sit out a year, that might be the end of their career.
Yeah,
let's pull the panel. What does baseball have this year?
What does baseball have this year?
I'll go first. I'll say, what does baseball do this year? Will there be 0 season, 80 games, 100 games? Let's pull the panel.
I think we get half a season, 82.
82
I'm going to say – go ahead, Spike.
I say closer to 50 games, more like a third of the season.
Yeah, I was going to say about 40.
But that's the question, though. Not to shit on your prediction there, but what's the point of playing a 50-game season?
Just to get something. We were talking about revenue. We were talking about, the ways for the owners to make money. The players can't sit out a year. I mean, I know that that is, a topic that is being milled around. I know Max Scherzer came out today and said that there's no point negotiating with Major League Baseball anymore. So he's saying that the Players Association is walking away, which would indicate that it's the end of the season. But like it was mentioned earlier today, like 60% of the players make under $1 million. They're not financially secure in any stretch of the imagination. So these are guys that need to get back on the field. They need to make some kind of revenue, and they're probably going to put pressure on the union to say, get us something, get us on the field so we can earn a paycheck, even if it's a reduced paycheck, just so we can bring in some kind of revenue. Because otherwise, like I said it before, Home Depot is going to be getting people lining up to, work in the lumber yard so that they can, work out while they're working and getting a paycheck.
Now, what I haven't been able to read anywhere that these TV deals are paid out no matter what. Like, I don't know if there's any clause. I'm sure there's a clause. These guys are smart. But, I mean, are these TV deals being paid out to these owners right now? I mean, is revenue sharing between the owners still being paid? If so, then I tend to lean more toward the players' side in this spot.
And that's part of the problem is that the TV revenue is like for Major League Baseball is $1.5 billion. And that's, I think, for the 2018 season. I don't think I have the 2019 numbers here, which, by the way, is half of what the NBA gets for their TV dollars. But, of course, Bobby says that's irrelevant, so fuck him. But these, if they're being paid out to the owners, then the owners are fine. But still, the players need to earn a paycheck because nobody goes to Fenway Park to see the owners. Nobody goes to see the nobody goes to see the Padres anyway. But if they did go to see the Padres, they wouldn't be going to see the owners of the Padres. They're going to see the players. So therefore, the players need to get on the field. The players need to earn a paycheck. And the only way they can do that is if, the owners can't give it out for free. So the owners have to find a way to get them back on the field, to get the TV revenue so that they can pay the players and we can get on with our lives. But I think because they are so far apart right now, we have to be able to find something. I don't think it's going to come soon. That's why I'm saying 50 games probably makes sense because, figure a start of like August 1st. You get, most of August, most of September, you can start the playoffs in October.
And another thing that is anti-owner, they're not just paying 30 guys, they're paying 50 guys because they're going to have their 30-man major league squad plus 20 taxi squad, I think they're going to call it. So they got to pay those guys too. So they're basically paying a AAA squad as well.
Most of it, yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
So who has leverage in this, Token? The players or the owners?
I would say the owners at this point because – that they pretty much control the players almost like puppets at this point.
When do we see the owners throw out the idea of using scabs? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility the longer we go. These AAA players are getting cut by the day. They're losing their jobs by the day. You think they won't play for $100K or $150K? And I'd go watch them. I go to Aviators games. What the fuck's the difference? I just get a bigger stadium.
You'll be seeing Aviators out there for Oakland come August 1st or whenever they start this nonsense.
It's totally plausible. Hey, Kyler Murray might play if there's no NFL season. I think he's still got an A's contract. He might be out of it now, but I don't. It's really hard to feel bad for either of them. Again, it goes down to the small man complex. I have a hard time feeling compassion for billionaires and millionaires, and. I'd feel the same in football. Like, I understand we have a sports podcast. We like sports. We watch sports. We degen on sports. But for those times that sports was gone, your life went on, right? Especially baseball. The thing I like about baseball is if I miss one game, there's another one tomorrow.
If not later.
Or 2 days from now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was one of those sports that throughout the summer you can kind of keep at arm's reach, especially the summer for most of us, when you sleep like 4 hours a week.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's like that one thing that keeps the sanity kind of going.
So, Token, what do we get? Spike said 50. I said half a season. What do we get, Token?
I'm saying about 40. 40 and then normal-ish postseason, if not
Oh.
maybe a shortened postseason.
I could dig a tournament style bracket if that's all they come up with. I could dig that.
It's better than nothing. I mean, at this point, they need something to kind of keep them within interest of. Otherwise, they might have to start down at ground zero and think of some crazy rule changes to compete with the other Big Four.
All right, Bobby, you asked the question. What do we get? We get
I'm
frozen.
going to go. If we have anything, it'll be 82 games. It'll be 82 games in the home ballpark. So that's one thing I think the owners won't give up is that local regional TV money, however they get it. So I'm going to go 82 games in home ballpark.
So something that's I've been kind of questioning with actually all three sports not named football. Why are these sports not taking an opportunity to adjust their calendars? Baseball could make their World Series in the summer or the early fall while preseason football is going on. Hockey could definitely use the benefit of getting away from basketball and football. Why are these sports not taking a chance or an advantage to move their calendars? I mean, why not why not start the hockey season? Why not start the hockey season in April and crown a team? Since it's a winter sport, crown a champion in December. I mean, is that a possibility that I think, or even a situation where with the COVID-19, you might take 3 or 4 years, start the season when you can, when everything's cleared up, when the negotiations are fine, when people can go back to stadiums, and use the next 3 or 4 years to get your season back to where you had it before. Why are we having to – it seems like these invisible timelines are just putting barriers on all of these franchises. I mean, with the NHL, I want them to come back as soon as possible, but if they don't come back till September, you can't start the next season in October. But it seems like their backs are up against the wall.
Yeah, the thing is with a realistic April to December season is you're going to have a lot of problems with it once we get back to fans and all that with like desert area teams and all that, keeping the arena safe for the players.
What?
It's going to warm up too quick and all that. They had the problem in Phoenix many years ago and still do closer to the playoff time. Sometimes they have to delay games by like an hour or something to have it resurfaced within a reasonable safety level for the players.
Yeah, I know they had something like that in the Cup final a couple of years ago here in Vegas, but I mean, if you're playing in the Cup final, you're in July, or not July, but you're in June. I mean,
June, yeah.
At least in June, yeah.
It just seems like, everybody always says, I mean, nobody pays attention to basketball until February. Nobody pays attention to hockey until football's over. So it's like, I understand football's king, but, at least the XFL tried to get away from it. Like, why don't these sports try to get away from it? If liquidy ice is your biggest issue, fix it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's
exactly.
Right. I can dig that, yeah.
I mean, if liquidy ice is the biggest issue that you have and to get away from the NFL schedule to be, have more eyes on you, then find a way to fix that. I mean, I don't know. It's just, to me, it seems like I would take this opportunity, especially if I was baseball, to probably start in February and try to end by like September.
September or early October would be the earliest.
Well, it pretty much ends in October now, but
it begins in October. It ends like November.
Sometimes. Every year seems to be different. They seem to be getting earlier and earlier. Maybe they're listening to me. I don't know. But I don't know. It just,
one year on Halloween. That was odd.
Mm-hmm. Well, they still keep trying to start it earlier and earlier, but they're not taking advantage of the warm weather sites still. I mean, there's still March 26th games in New York. I mean, that's awful. It's an awful way to watch baseball, awful way to play baseball. No good.
Postponed due to snow.
Well, shit. I mean, I went to a game.
Colorado.
I went to a game in Colorado, and it was like mid-May, and it snowed. It was like 1.5 feet of snow. You can't avoid that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
and the crazy
it's definitely tough to predict when the scheduling comes out and all that. I mean, you could delay it by like a few weeks, but
no, the easiest thing is just to build everybody a dome, a retractable dome. Start snowing, push the button.
Yeah, Oakland had a deal with that in the beginning, and then, or was it Oakland or no? It was Seattle.
Seattle, yeah. Seattle and Houston have beautiful parks, and Chase Field's another one where open or closed. It looks great.
Yeah. And now they barely take any time to open or not.
Yeah, actually, there was one I went down there to watch the Red Sox, and the stadium started open, and it was super hot. And by the fourth inning, it was closed. I didn't even hear it. I didn't even hear it closing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Milwaukee is the same way. Milwaukee Stadium is gorgeous. They don't draw dick unless they're in the playoff line. I used to live in Illinois. I used to love driving that 90 minutes up there to watch. I mean, even a bad Brewers team, because that park is it's gorgeous up there.
Plus, you have the wieners running out around the
Oh
field.
yeah, yeah. $10 spotted cow, baby. Yes, sir.
Whack with a bat.
So, all right. Well, I'm sure we're going to be chatting more on this with more baseball, talks coming. But let's thank the sponsors. Wrap it up here. 12-Ounce Sports Network. Thanks for the free T-shirt. Catch our podcast at 12ozsports.net or .com. Excuse me. I'm looking at Bobby. Seat Giant promo code 12-Ounce Sports for your discounted sporting event, concert, and theater tickets. ChaiPoker.net, Fat Tees Food, and Wicked Cuts Jerky. You can catch them at wickedcuts.co. All right, for a token Tony, for a Bobby Digital, for Spike, I am Aaron. We appreciate just read Spike's thing. We appreciate you listening. We'll catch you on the next one.